Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts. Back again with another video. So we just got some big news this morning. The contracts of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have officially been restructured. And what does that mean, right? What does that mean? I'm gonna get into it. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So the Chargers went ahead and restructured Mike Williams and Keenan Allen's contract. I don't think that it was a surprise to anybody. We knew that the Chargers were going to have to restructure and cut their way to cap compliance, right? And that's a place where they were kind of far off, right? They were about 20 million over the cap. That's obviously a place you don't want to be as a franchise, right? You're going to have to make some tough decisions on who to keep, who to cut, who to restructure, right? Who to kick the can down the road with. These are very, very difficult decisions. And a lot of these decisions can have, ramifications years later. So you kind of have to tread carefully with this. And I think the Chargers woke up and they chose offense. To me, that is my biggest takeaway from this. They chose offense. They chose Justin Herbert. They chose his guys. And to me, if you're in a position, right, where you want to grade this, whether this was the right or wrong thing to do, I have to say that it was the right thing to do because Justin Herbert has fantastic chemistry with both of these guys, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Now, the question mark that comes into this, right, is the health, right? The health of these guys. Last year was a injury-riddled season for pretty much both of them. I don't expect that going forward in 2023. Mike Williams has had, some injury bouts, right? He's dealt with some stuff, right? None of it has really been that serious, though. None of it has, required surgeries or anything like that. Keenan Allen has been, pretty much a constant. His hamstring injury last year was kind of an anomaly, right? So that's not something that I count on happening down the road. I think both of these guys will be relatively healthy, right, to play in most games. So I do think that this is going to benefit the Chargers. I think it's going to benefit the offense, knowing that these two guys, right, your stalwarts at wide receiver, are going to be there. I think this is going to help Justin Herbert. I think this is going to help the offense. And obviously, with them, choosing to restructure contracts, right, it is really going to kick the can down the road on them going forward. So when you look at cap hits for 2023, right, after the restructures, Keenan Allen is now at $12.7 million cap hit, right? That is a very good cap hit for him. And then Mike Williams is at 13.5. So between those two guys, right, you got about $26 million in cap hits with these guys this year in 2023, right? Those are very good numbers for this season. And all it does is benefit the team, especially, having a new offensive coordinator in the building in Kellen Moore, being able to have these guys, still be there every day for Justin Herbert. I think it's going to make a big difference as far as the philosophy gets changed on this team, right? I think the Chargers are going to go offense. That's what this tells me, right? I could be wrong, but this is what this tells me. They are going to invest offensively. They know who they have as quarterback, right? They know that they have a real life breathing offensive coordinator now. So I think the Chargers are starting to look at things through the perspective that I was, talking about, pretty much for the past few months. Let's get offense. Let's get offense. Let's get offense. And I think that's where they're going. So I'm a little excited there, but there's still some moves to be made, and there's still, some overage as far as the cap goes. So the Chargers are still about $7 million over the cap at this point right now. Now, when you look at the most likely cuts, right, Matt Filer, I think the Chargers save about $6 million with him, and Dustin Hopkins, I think they save $1.5 to $2 million with him. So with those two cuts right there, the Chargers could get, pretty much under the cap, but at that point, it's just by the skin of their teeth. They really have no room to sign anybody else. So there are going to be some more cuts, possibly some more restructures. I see a lot of people talking online about restructuring, possibly Khalil Mack, possibly restructuring Joey Bosa. I don't think it's going to happen. I honestly do not think it is going to happen. So I'll start off first with Joey Bosa and why I think it's not going to happen. When you look at his cap hit for 2023, his cap hit is $31 million, right? $31 million. He has the highest cap hit on this team. Now, the Chargers cannot cut him. They can't cut him. He has protections against that. And I said this on a video previously. Joey Bosa's agents did a very good job with his contract. They did a very, very good job negotiating this because there's protections against him getting cut. If the Chargers were to cut him, that's a $38 million dead cap hit. That is something that no team is going to take on. So Joey Bosa will be on this roster. He will be making his money this season. Now, the reason why I think he will not be restructured is because his cap hit next year is $29 million, right? So it's in the same ballpark. It's in the same neighborhood. What the Chargers would have to do is take money away from 2023 and give it to Joey Bosa in 2024, right? I don't think that they're going to do that because pretty much all of 2023 is guaranteed for Joey Bosa. So what you would be doing is putting guaranteed money in 2024 when the Chargers, they have an out this year, right? They can let Joey Bosa play his contract out. They have an out. So if they wanted to cut him next year, it would just be a $7 million dead cap hit. $7 million. And then I think it would be even less past the post June 1st designation. So they can spread that dead cap hit out over several years, right? So it can only be $2 million a year for like three or 4 years or whatever it is, right? So I don't think that the Chargers are going to do that because that would automatically trigger his guarantees in 2024. And with his injury history, it's just not smart. It's not a smart thing to do. I just don't see that happening. Now, with Khalil Mack, it's also the same thing, right? When you look at Khalil Mack's 2023 cap numbers, right? His cap hit, 2023, $27.4 million, right? So that is around the same ballpark as Joey Bosa. Now, if the Chargers just outright wanted to cut him right now, if they wanted to cut him right now, this very moment, it would only be a $9 million dead cap hit, right? Here's the caveat with the Khalil Mack contract, though. If the Chargers wanted to cut him and then designate it post June 1st, it is only a $4.5 million dead cap hit. So the Chargers can outright just cut Khalil Mack and not really have that much of a dead cap hit, especially if it's post June 1st. $4.5 million over 4 years. It's only $1 million a year as far as dead cap. That ain't gonna hurt anybody. That's not gonna hurt the team. You're still gonna be able to do what you do, as far as free agents go and all of that stuff. That's not gonna hurt the team. So the Chargers can get out of Khalil Mack's contract right now. They can get out of it right now for a very, very, very reasonable dead cap hit. So that's one thing. That's one option to look at as well too. Then when you look at a possible restructure going past this year with Khalil Mack, right? So again, $27.4 million is owed to him this year. That is what his cap hit looks like this year. If you take money away from that, his cap hit next year is almost the exact same. So you would be taking money away from this year, triggering guaranteed money into 2024, and that cap hit would be somewhere around $35 to $36 million. That would be a 33-year-old Khalil Mack getting $35 to $36 million, right? A Khalil Mack who is declining physically, right? We can see it. We all have eyes. We can see him. He's not the same player. So this would be giving him so much more money, so much more guaranteed money, triggering guarantees to keep him on the roster just because of his name, right? That wouldn't make any sense at all. So this is why I don't think Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack are good restructure candidates. If they are to be restructured, it's not, things are going to look very, very bad going forward, especially in 2024. The cap situation then is not going to look good. The Chargers they could potentially put themselves in a corner here if they don't make the right decisions. Now, I think Mike and Keenan, I think those are good decisions because those are wide receivers. And if they're healthy, they can produce, they can give you, value for all of that money. Once, a defensive end is shot, once he can't do it anymore, right, there's almost no value left. There's no value left. If he's not getting sacks, if he's not getting pressures, if he's not getting to the quarterback, there's no value left in that. So the juxtaposition between offensive players and defensive players, it's very, very, very different as far as them aging, making all this money, and what value they have, when it comes to helping the team. So this is a very, very, very crazy situation that the Chargers are in right now. Again, I hope that they make the right decisions because this could really blow up in their face in 2024. Now, I think this really triggers the first round pick for this year, I do think it's going to be defense, and I do think it's going to be an edge. I was talking about Nolan Smith the other day. I would love to have him. I don't think he's going to be around, but I do think that the Chargers go with an edge player in the first round. That's personally what I feel. Now that the Chargers have committed to Keenan Allen, now they've committed to Mike Williams, right, through at least 2024. I think these guys are going to be on the roster through 2024, both of them. I think Bosa and I think Mack, I think they are in their last days as Chargers, right? I think this is their last year. If none of them, get traded or cut or whatever, this will be their last year in the Charger uniform, and the Chargers are going to have to pretty much restart, right? As far as edge rushers go, they're going to have to look for somebody in the draft. They're going to have to look for guys in free agency going forward. So I do think that this first round draft pick will be an edge. I honestly do, and I think it's going to be out of necessity because the Chargers have pretty much chosen where they're going to go right in the future. They're going to go on offense. They're going to go with the support for Justin Herbert, and it's the right decision to make as far as that. So they're going to have to compensate in the draft. They're going to have to compensate in free agency. They're going to have to try to get team-friendly deals in free agency as well, too, for defensive players. I think Staley has had his bite at the apple, and the Chargers, the organization, looks like it's going forward, and it looks like it's going in an offensive direction. So, again, I think the first round pick will be an edge, and I do think that it will be the right decision to make, honestly. Now, one of the underrated aspects of this thing is draft day. I want people to remember draft day. It is coming up. It's about 50 days away. Look for possible draft day deals, right? Possibly maybe involving a Khalil Mack, maybe involving a Joey Bosa, maybe involving somebody who makes some money on the roster, right? Specifically on defense. Look for some type of deal. Maybe the Chargers are looking for some cap relief somewhere. Maybe they're looking to open up, some of that cap to sign a free agent, right? Maybe to sign a Odell or sign a McCole Hardman, somebody like that. Look for them to make some type of draft day deal to get the cap number down. I would not be surprised. Maybe they package a draft pick with the Khalil Mack, right? Maybe they send him somewhere, right, where, a team can pay him his money and he can be a free agent after that, right? Possibly same thing with Joey Bosa. But look for some type of draft day deal that the Chargers get into, right? Either getting more picks back or maybe sending a late round pick to get that salary cap relief. That's where they're at as far as the salary cap goes. All that spending that happened last year is really, really starting to rear its ugly head, right? You got to pay the piper at some point. And now I think the Chargers are in that space. And, when you look at the cut in the restructure market on this team, you don't want to cut too many guys, right? The Chargers already have a lot of free agents, so you don't want to cut too many guys, but there's going to have to be some salary cap relief somewhere. So this move that the Chargers made today by restructuring Keenan and Mike, I think it is indicative of how this franchise is looking to go as far as the direction, right? Offense. I think they're looking at offense, and I'm okay with that. I just think they have to be a little smarter as far as the money goes, and before they start restructuring, before they start kicking the can down the road, they got to realize Justin Herbert still hasn't been paid yet. So that's still one of the big clouds hanging over this franchise right now. You got to get your franchise quarterback paid, and they have to work everything out with that in mind, right? No matter what it is, deals, draft picks, all of that stuff, they have to work that out in mind with Justin Herbert not being paid yet. Everything has to revolve around that. Once that contract is agreed to and signed on, then they can kind of, finagle some things around, but they have to remember he hasn't been paid yet. So they do not want to paint themselves in a corner, committing too much money to guys that are not really going to be able to give them that value, right? Especially, in older age, right? They're not going to be able to give the Chargers as much value. And Justin Herbert is going to be commanding a lot of the cap. So they have to remember that going forward. Hopefully this is a good indicator of what the Chargers want to do. Hopefully they continue to think offensive minded in the draft and free agency. I would like to see more of that. But as of right now, things are kind of, in flux right now. So I will be making more videos on it. I just wanted to come on here and cover the news this morning that the Chargers have restructured the contracts of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So you guys can kind of see what's going on here. And yeah, man, this is the offseason. It's in full display now, right? We have 6 days until the league year opens, free agency opens, and trades get completed and all of this stuff. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to be here covering it, making videos like this, and hopefully you guys enjoy. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing down below, and don't forget to smash that like button as well too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content, and until next time.